Robbie, when I'm on site in people's houses, I see a ton of queen palms all the time. You know, sometimes I get questions about why are they dying? It seems like everybody in the neighborhood's queen palms are dying all at the same time, and it's usually during summer. Give you any insight on the queen palms?
Queen palms are a palm that live here, but they necessarily really don't want to live here. They take a lot more care than most all other palms do in Arizona. They need a balanced fertilizer with your nitrogen, phosphate, and potash, but then they also need micronutrients with the manganese and magnesium. They utilize that magnesium and manganese to use the nitrogen and phosphate properly. They also get crown rot. They get an airborne fungus that can come in through the wind, through a bird. A bird can land on a palm that has this crown rot, then fly over to your queen palm, land on your queen palm. Now your queen palm has that crown rot. And it just deteriorates the center growth from the inside out. So even though they're pretty, they are a lot of work to keep looking good. They're a lot of work to water properly. And if you don't do any of the proper steps, they just go downhill. Especially with the last few summers we've had, it's just been crazy hot. And if they haven't been properly taken care of and neglected in the past, the summer's going to show it. They're going to either quit producing new growth, or if they do have the fungus, the summer's going to speed it up and it takes them right out. There are other palms that grow way better here, less care, less maintenance. You might not necessarily get the look you want, but you'll have a healthier, better palm all the way around.
So what does a watering schedule look like for a queen palm in the summer versus the winter?
A queen palm in the summer, you're going to want to deep water twice a week, and it really depends on how old your palm is, on how deep of a watering you do it. But on average, you're going to water twice a week, about 3-4 days intervals in between each watering, but you're going to water for 4, maybe 5 hours on end, so that water can penetrate feet down into our soil. The point of our drip system is so the water can hit and seep down into our ground, not hit and puddle. So you want to really watch your drip system, make sure that water's penetrating the soil and not puddling up in a well. In Arizona, anytime over 95 degrees, if your water's puddling up in the well, it's in the atmosphere through evaporation before it has ever penetrated the soil. So you want to make sure you have a real slow flow so that water is penetrating deep into our ground for these queen palms. Iron, sulfur, manganese, magnesium, something that these palms thrive on, and if you're not regularly using it, you'll see it when the summer hits.
What about the deep stake watering? Do you like those?
Very beneficial, especially for queens. Those deep stake waterings help for whether it be a queen palm, an ash tree, a red push. They're great for all your trees. Our soil's really dense. It's really hard clay, and you need the roots to get deep, and it has a hard time getting deep into our soil because the hard clay, because all roots follow water. The denser your clay is, the harder it is for that water to penetrate that soil. So those deep root stakes will help get that water 2-3 foot down, so the roots of that tree or that palm can straight going down to get you a nice deep healthy root system.
Now, I'm sure you have to adjust the watering then if you're using the stakes.
Yes, you'll want to dial it down so the water, like I said, pretty much hits and seeps. So if it does fill up that stake, it takes hours and hours for it to fill up that stake before you notice it.
You're talking like a 2-foot stake, 18-inch?
2 foot, 18,
1 foot.
14. It really just depends on how big the palm is you're using, or the stake for how big of a root ball you're using.
Great. Robbie, when I put in a ton of pygmy palms, they seem to be really soft. They're easy to maintain. Can you tell us a little bit more about them?
Yeah, they are. This is one of the 3 that I was referring to that are one of the favorite customers like. And the main reason is the look. They're soft, they're pretty, they give you that wispy look. People love them behind water features because it's soft and feathery behind that water feature. So you got that water feature, hard rock feature, then you got a nice feathery palm behind it. It's a great look. And these are actually pretty solid palms. I really like them. They can become drought tolerant. You train them to be drought tolerant, just like I was referring to the other palms. They're great little palms.
How fast do they grow?
They grow about 1 foot to maybe 2 foot a year. They're not the fastest growers, but that's why people like them, and they can put them in tight areas behind rock features, in between pony walls and walls, because they're a slower grower. Their roots aren't too invasive, and so you can put them in real tight areas.
All right, we just touched on the queen palms and how they're great, but they're not as great for what we're working with. So Robbie, walk us through some of the other options that are better suited for this area.
So there's a lot of other palm options that do way better in Arizona than the queen palms. Like this guy here, this is a Canary Island, or they call it a pineapple palm. These are gorgeous palms, way more drought tolerant, way hardier palm, less fertilizers, less maintenance. They don't get the crown rot like the queen palms do, and you get a really great look out of these guys. When these things are mature, they look like a big giant pineapple coming out of the ground.
You see them all the time.
Yeah,
They're big boys.
They're pretty, they're nice. This trunk can actually get a 4-foot base on it. They get about roughly 15 foot tall. Very drought tolerant. This palm in the summer months, once it's established, you can water it every 7 to 10 days. And that's when it's 120 degrees outside. We're going to go touch back onto that deep watering. Whether it be this palm, whether it be a tree of any sort, deep watering is key in Arizona. We have clay soil. All plants' roots follow water, and the deeper you can get your plant's roots in the ground, the better it's going to be. So you constantly want to deep water. When you're doing like a 10-15 minute watering every day, the water only penetrates so far into our soil. That means the roots are only growing so far. Then they start to grow laterally in the soil, and you do not want that. You want a nice, deep, sturdy taproot, because if all your roots are surfaced maybe 2 foot down, a strong monsoon wind comes by, pushes them all right over. Whether it be a palm, mesquite tree, an ash tree, it's very common out here. People don't water properly, so the deep watering is key. Whether it be a pineapple palm, a Mexican fan palm, ash tree, whatever, deep watering is the key. But this guy, extremely drought tolerant. It's like I say, once every 7 to 10 days in the summer months. In the winter, it can almost go once a month in between waterings. They're great palms, pretty, green year round. There's others too. This guy right here, this is a nice ponytail palm. Completely different look. Guy kind of looks like a big old onion coming out of the ground.
Yeah, it does.
These are nice ornamental palms. Great palms. They just need a little space to grow, because the root base can get some girth on it, because that little bulb can get 3-4 foot in the ground. But once again, deep watering in the summer every 7 to 10 days, and you can almost go once a month in the wintertime. Awesome palm.
Robbie, question for you. What does it look like for palms when you first put them in? You know, what's that watering schedule look like for that first 2-3 weeks?
So the first 2-3 weeks, actually the first 8 weeks are what you really need to focus on your watering. So the first 1 to 2 weeks, you're gonna, in the summer months, you're gonna water like every day, every other day for a good 15 to 20 minutes. And you do that for about 2 weeks. Then after that 2 weeks period of time, you're gonna go every third day, but you're gonna double your run time. So the volume's bigger, so the water starts penetrating in the ground. You do that for 2 weeks. Then after that 2 weeks, you go every 5th day, but once again, you double that run time, so the volume is larger, you get even more water penetration in the ground. And after that 2 week period, that's when you put it on that once a week deep watering. And then once you do the once a week, you double the run time again. So at that point in time, your system's set up for almost 3 hours once a week, real slow, deep soak. It's key on getting all these things established, whether it be the ponytail palm, the Mediterranean fan palm, the Mexican blue palm. All of them are you're gonna pretty much treat the same way. And like I'm saying, these are all varieties of palms that do great. The Meds are awesome. You want a nice full multi-trunk look, the Mediterranean fan palm will give that for you. You want a little different characteristic. You don't like the green everybody has. You want some different contrast. You can do the Mexican blue fan. Has this nice bluish gray green growth on it. So you get different, you can do different looks.
What's the most popular palm you're seeing right now that's coming out of your stores?
One of the most popular, so there's probably 3. Gonna be the Mediterranean fan palm, the pineapple palm we were talking about, and some pygmy date palms. I have the pygmy dates in another area. We'll touch up on those here in a little bit.
Let's walk and talk. I have a question for you. Sometimes I see in HOAs that they don't allow pineapple palms. Why is that?
Every HOA is different. It just could be the look that the HOA is trying to achieve in people's yards. The only other reason they might not want a pineapple palm is just that palm can get some girth on it, you know, 3-4 foot. So it might be a size matter, but 9 out of 10 times, It's nothing wrong with the plant. It's just the look that the HOA is trying to achieve.
Like some plants will drop a lot, like
Ye-
the Palo Verde.
The Palo Verde yellow, yeah,
yellow
yep.
flowers. So.
Yeah. But
Okay.
yeah, and a lot of it, like I said, it's back to cosmetics. It's the look they're trying to achieve. They don't want the litter. They don't want the mess. So it's just the look.
That makes a lot
Yep.
of sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's, once again, tons of different palms that do well and thrive.
Awesome. Well, if you're looking for palms, if you're looking for any type of palm, and you don't want to install it yourself, hey, give me a call. I'll come out and help you design it. I'll pick them up and put it in for you. Now, if you will do it yourself, DIY guy or girl, that's fine. Call Robbie at any of the A&P stores or any of his staff, and they'll help you out.